Howdy folks, Tonester back. Got another replay for you. This time we have Brandonfox in his M4. He has 2 marks on it, and we are on the map, Studzianski, or whatever you want to call it. He looks like top tier, as is everybody. So again, let me pause this for a second. I want to go in and show you my sound settings because, as I mentioned, I'm recording a bunch of videos this weekend, so we're going to have to live with the sound settings that I've got right now for the next few videos that I have used a little bit in order to help me hear the enemies breaking walls, knocking over trees, and that sort of thing. So I've set mine up according to True Voodoo's settings, which are close to them. I've got 71 on the interface. I've got vehicles down to about 10, which is just enough that if you turn up your sound, you can hear your RPMs on your vehicles. Turn my voice notifications way down and my effects way up, and my ambience also very far down. So that is courtesy of True Voodoo and his settings, and I will try and remember to link to his channel in the comments. If you don't see me link to his channel and you remember, just remind me and I'll put it up there for you guys. He's actually a very good player. He's in, I think, Mahau. He's also a community contributor. If you guys don't know, he's not very active on YouTube, but he does have some great videos and tutorials on how to play better, and he is definitely a better player than I am. So I will put that up. Let's get back to Brandon's game here, and we'll talk a little bit. He's got the derp gun. It's 105 millimeter, and he has auto-aimed, and he's just trying to get gun depression, and look at that. That is why you use the derp. It's got 410 average damage. Now, the pen is only 53, and with heat, you have 101, and there are a surprising amount of tanks you can pen with heat rounds, okay? And so he is just playing very passively because this map requires it, quite honestly. He doesn't have fantastic view range. I'd like to know maybe his setup, if he would tell me in the comments. I usually use coated optics. I use, what else do I use? I use a gun rammer, and I think I use vents on this thing. But I have an insane crew on mine. So there's a missed shot. That's not at all surprising based on the fact that he's using the derp gun. The derp gun is, quite frankly, not very accurate. And apparently, did he get lit there? Apparently he did. So the turret on this thing will bounce stuff if you allow it to. And the hull is absolute cheese. So you do not want to be up on a ridge like he is and get spotted. Now, he's doing the right thing. He's sitting behind cover, and he's sitting behind bushes, but he's deciding to push forward now because there's a T-67 there. Now, the T-67 is a one-shot almost every time for this because this gun has no penetration, and he does auto-aim, and he's able to put a nice shot into the T-34S. There's only one RD, although this, as most American tanks, does not take RD very well, and he's able to pull out and get a shot. So if I was him, I might not auto-aim quite as much because your turret can bounce stuff, but nevertheless, you can't argue with success. He's up to 800 damage, 2 kills, and so you learn to love T-67s in this because you can blind fire and hit them, and if you hit them, chances are you're going to kill them. And against many tier 5s, 50 penetration is enough to kill them, especially light tanks. So you can one-shot kill a lot of tier 5s. The issue is that your aim time's really long. Your your damage per minute is not very high if you're not penning shots, and this thing has Swiss cheese for the armor, unless you're holding down. So Hellcats are another thing you want to shoot at. The other thing about this gun is that you get a lot of assist damage, because oftentimes you track your enemy and you can just hold them in place. One other thing to note on this tank is that if you're shooting at long distance, even though that was a miss, but even though you can't pen a heavily armored target, a lot of times the shell arc is such that it will come in on the top of the tank, and I've one-shotted tanks that I should not be able to one-shot because of that shell trajectory. It almost becomes like an arty. I've actually gone in third person and aimed at somebody and shot them because the ridge was between me and them, but because of the shell arc, I could still hit them. It's almost like an arty shot. So there's a grill. That's a perfect target for him. Another 240. He's up to 1,400 damage, folks. That is fantastic. 4 kills, and he's cleaned up his side of the map. So there's his opposite number, and you notice he's behind cover. He will maybe get spotted here, but yeah. So you can see he got unlucky there in that he did not pin the M4. But nevertheless, he tracked him, and a lot of these low-tier tanks, people do not have repair crews on. So if you've got a good crew, you can oftentimes beat their reload. When I was trying to 3-mark this tank, as he's just coming up killing everybody, right? When I tried to 3-mark this tank, which I did 3-mark it, I ended up using coke on it because the engine's in the rear, and you rarely get set on fire unless the enemy has your butt, and that's the last place you want to be anyway, right? So Brandonfox here did take a hit from the BDR. The BDR actually has decent armor. I found it to be a fairly good tank, to be honest with you. But the BDR has a 240 Alpha gun. It's one of the few French tanks that I think actually have an advantage. So Brandon is just blind firing this KV-1. I mean, look how close they are and they can't see each other. That's nuts to me. But it is currently 13-10. He's got a Churchill and AT2 coming in, and he's just being patient. So 1,700 damage that we know of, 273 assists, and he's got 6 kills so far. So what a great game. He definitely is carrying this game. And it looks like he might have had a blind shot on that KV-1. So we'll have to look in the after action report. So just one guy left. That guy does have 5 kills though. So this Stug 3G, and you notice Brandon has only used standard rounds in this, the HE rounds, which rarely do I use heat rounds, but if I see a Cromwell, I'll definitely use a heat round because you need that extra pen. But the damage does go down to 350 as opposed to 410. So, well, it was a nice try. When you're at any distance and they're moving at all, you have to aim behind them. And usually when I aim behind and at the ground where they're at. So that was a nice shot to finish that guy off. 7 kills, folks, and we know at least 1,800 damage, over 2,000 combined, and a tier 5 medium. So great job. Let's go take a look at his after action report. Okay, guys, here we are at the after action report. Ace tanker for Brandon, high caliber and top gun, 2 bonds. Let's see, one other thing that I forgot to mention is the insane module damage that this tank does because it is an HE gun. It does a lot of module damage. I mean, 17 module hits. critical hits. So that's always nice as well. So Brandon was top of the team by a mile. Almost, what's that? Almost 600 experience. 1226 experience. Looks like the Stug also did fairly well, 1390 with 6 kills. That's fairly amazing. His teammates did not help all that much, his platoon. 18 hits, 14 pens. They call them pens, but they're splashes. Oh, and 4 penetration. So he actually got 4 full pens on enemies for 1951 damage. So apparently he did hit a blind shot on that KV1, it looks like. 940 from a long distance. 10 of the enemy hits and 7 kills. So 10 out of 15 players on the enemy team he hit. That is amazing, Brandon. 273 players assist, which we knew. And without a premium account, he made 16,000 credits. Now, the ammo resupply on this is extremely inexpensive. That's another reason to play this tank. It's a solid tank, and it makes money even without a premium account. And it looks like he just got his base 1226 base XP, but we will take that. That was a fantastic game. Thanks for sending it in, Brandon. Keep them coming, guys. And we will catch you on the next one. Tonester out.